My name is Miranda Currie, and my company is called Curious Connections. And the goal of our company is to create authentic Northern Indigenous content that is accessible to children and families. My inspiration was kids. They're pretty amazing, and having the opportunity to work with them every day, I saw the need for them to see more of themselves in mainstream media. I think that's really important for kids, and it's something that drives me and inspires me. If both Indigenous and non-Indigenous children can see Indigenous culture represented in a positive way and see the beauty of our culture, I want to take advantage of that to show kids, to all kids, like the cool parts about Indigenous culture. I'm a musician as well as an emerging filmmaker, and I also write children's books. As a musician, I'm putting out my second album, my second kids album in the new year, which I'm really excited about. It's called Tickling the Taiga, which follows the first album, Bouncing in the Boreal. I use music to help kids learn about Indigenous culture and specifically also language. I live in Yellowknife among the Dene people. The language that's spoken there, it's the Williday dialect of Klincho. I teach in school sometimes with elders, and I team teach with them to help kids sing with and learn language as well. And then it grew into creating more album style stuff and being more on the internet and things like that. 2 years ago now, I was like, you know what? I just think that if I'm gonna reach kids and this youth audience, screen is a really good way to go. So I started sort of sniffing around for some different opportunities to learn how to be a filmmaker. And one of the ones that I was successful at was being part of the National Screen Institute's IndigiDocs program. And through them, I was mentored to make my first film. Tales on Ice premiered at the Cannes Short Film Festival. Tales on Ice is a story of my sled dog. It's Ellesmere's first, it's kind of her coming of age expedition. The unique thing about it is that it's a short doc, but it's told from Ellesmere's point of view. That's more accessible to children and families, I think. I have a new book coming out called Fishing with Etsy. This will be my fourth book. But sort of the previous one in the series, Sadie's Mittens, these books both are geared towards people who want to learn the Williday language. So I worked with Mauro Sundberg, who's the language keeper of the Williday, the Yellowknives Dene's First Nations, the Williday language. And she helped translate some of the words in the book. So as you read through some of the nouns, like fish, hliwe, and nets and boat, are all in the Williday language, but the rest of the words are in English so that it's more accessible, which is what we need in order for that language to survive. My mom is Indigenous and my dad is settler. There's been, different role models from both cultures that I've followed. My dad was an entrepreneur. I saw him just work hard every day. Some of my challenges have been the pandemic and just trying to, navigate all the regular challenges, but then on top of it, a pandemic. I really like being in person with people and having that face-to-face interaction. And throughout the pandemic, that was really difficult. We were doing so much by Zoom, and I just felt like I wasn't able to build the same type of relationships that I wanted to be building that are so necessary for the music business, the film industry, writing, all of those things. I think also being from the North sometimes can be a bit isolating. Again, the pandemic made that even crazier for me, was we're not traveling, we're not seeing people face to face, we're not making those same kind of connections. And so that was really challenging for me. Earlier on, I was like, okay, I need some working capital here, and a Quechua business development, a Quechua BDC out of Yellowknife, they stepped up. They brought me through the process of applying for the loans and then the grants associated with that, and that was really great because like the finance part of, I'm a creative, right? And so the finance part of things is something I really do have to work at. And they were able to take me by the hand and be like, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. And they would look at my my sheets, but the outcomes and what I learned was invaluable for sure. And so then it helps me, build credibility as a business, like on the financial end of things, like building that credibility as a business so that, when I enter into a bigger production, and I need those advance funds or whatever, my business will be in a good place to be like, oh yeah, she's got like solid financials. Yeah, we'd love to give her a loan, and have that be a financial reality for me. I think in the transition to being in business full time, I have a lot more control over my schedule, and I can really embrace those creative periods that come and know that like, oh, I can, if I'm having a really great run at something and it's 2 a.m, I don't have to go to bed because I need to wake up for school at 7. I can continue to work and go with that flow, and that feels pretty lovely. The advice I would give is to persevere, to not give up, and just to be like, I'm gonna problem solve this. And when everything is seeming like you can't problem solve on your own, call someone up, put a message on Facebook saying, looking for advice about XYZ. And for me anyways, inevitably someone pops up, someone says something to get me through that next hurdle, even though, a day ago I didn't think I could get through that hurdle. Again, that's what I learned from my dad, was he just kept always going, and just I could see the stress that he had, and but he always found the solutions in the end to the problems. And you're like, okay, that's what I got to do, is I just need to persevere and reach out when I need to get help, and just keep going. If I was going to take this journey again, I'd start earlier. I think I hesitated for a long time about what my true purpose was. I would just be more confident earlier, and be like, yep, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So create that for yourself and go forward in a good way. I had the opportunity to play Folk on the Rocks. The kids were singing along with me. And I almost couldn't sing because I was so emotional about it. And I was and they're singing, when I harvest food from the land, when I pick berries with my own hands. And these kids are singing it, Indigenous kids, non-Indigenous kids, families are around. And I was just that's the reward. That was such a beautiful moment to see those kids engaging with my song and the lyrics that they represent. We're moving towards changing that Indigenous narrative in Canada to a more positive one.